maintenance, the operational running of the facility, submission of requests for term contracts of artisans. The artisans form part of the human resource contingents, and that has been completed. In terms of the assessment on security systems and maintenance plan contract, copies of the ISS contract for software ownership documents, assessments were completed, quantities of all equipment obtained and incorporated into the draft maintenance plan. So the specification and tender documentation to be submitted to procurement by the CFO, and that was scheduled for the 30th of June 2026. In terms of the security workstream action plan, going to the next workstream, conduct a threat and risk assessment. Threat and risk assessment chairperson and honorable members have been completed. The threat and risk assessment report is available, and that's, as I said, completed. The personal suitability checks, PSC, was conducted with regard to the following: the surname and initials, identity number, proof of RSA citizenship, criminal record status, qualification verifications, and credit consumer check. The PSC report is available. The PSC is conducted when necessary, because this is an ongoing process, but that has already been completed. In terms of the security and risk profiling of all offenders, trained officials have been identified to conduct security and risk profiling of offenders in MCC. It's a continuous security and risk profiling of offenders upon admission, and this is done on a monthly basis because you need to know the type of inmate offender that's coming into the facility, so you can have the appropriate security plan in place. Security workstream continued. Inspection of available security equipment. In terms of the findings, G4S will withdraw registered firearms that they are currently using because it's in their name. DCS will provide their own firearms and other security equipment for operational use. Security equipment will be sourced from management areas in the Free State and Northern Cape region, and other regions will also be consulted to assist. DCS will arrange movement of security equipment within the Free State Northern Cape region and between regions. And purchasing of security equipment will be done under the RT66 contract. And then, of course, naturally, the security equipment will be transferred to the MCC facility during takeover. The next work stream, chairperson and honorable members of the rehabilitation workstream action plan. In terms of that, the auditing of warrants and safekeeping of warrants, a walk-through safe with lockable safe cabinets is available. DCS to maintain this as a best practice, to integrate the file and retain DCS registration number. And we need to conduct the auditing of archived files and warrants. A total of 2928 warrants are validated monthly through roll calls. In terms of the management of the offenders' clothing storeroom, maintain the practice of no private clothes around during admission. However, the storeroom is available, so all offenders' private clothes will be in the storeroom. The baseline has been established and the function is aligned to the DCS SOP. DCS offender uniform will be provided upon takeover, and the uniform has already been manufactured. In terms of the site visits have been conducted at MCC for comprehensive assessment of healthcare services. Important to note that the comprehensive assessment was done because the healthcare services are outsourced at Mangaung. There's an action plan drafted for the insourcing. So when DCS takes over, we will insource that, and therefore capacity will be provided for that service. In terms of the pharmaceutical services audit and assessment, comprehensive assessment was done, and pharmaceutical services, as per the healthcare, is also outsourced. The pharmacy is registered with the South African Pharmacy Council, so the pharmaceutical services will be insourced by DCS on takeover. In terms of the nutritional service assessment and audit, it was done, and the nutritional services also, like healthcare and pharmaceuticals, is outsourced as well. And the provision of meals complies with DCS standards. So upon takeover, the nutritional services will also be resourced. With regards to formal education, skills development, and SRAC programs on the assessment and audit, comprehensive assessment was undertaken. The formal education, skills development, and SRAC will continue under the DCS-run facilities. Staffing needs form part of the management structure, and that has already been considered in the structure. In terms of the next work stream, which is the GTO work stream, in terms of the network switches per building, the assessment has been completed. The network switches have been configured and delivered to Grootplay management area, and it is to be implemented upon takeoff. In terms of the telephony and communications, MCC is currently using a different system for communications. The needs were identified and will be implemented upon takeover. In terms of the Microsoft licenses, Chair, the department will utilize Microsoft Software Agreement. The admission and release and other internal systems will be used, and this will be implemented upon takeover. In terms of IT security, assessments were completed, licenses are available. In terms of the network points per building, the type of cables, etc., the assessments were completed. Diagram is available, so that has task already completed. If we go to the next work stream, which is information management work stream, the assessment was done on records keeping practices. Records are up to date, although it's important to note they are not managed in line with DCS record management best practices. The records management to be managed in line with DCS policies, and that will be done upon takeover. If we look at the communication work stream, in terms of content development, DCS developed its own communication plan. Communication updates to stakeholders is done as and when necessary. And also, if meetings take place, communication is relayed to the relevant role players. In terms of the digital media plan, the aim is to utilize various digital media platforms, and messages are continuously posted on various digital media platforms. We look at the last work stream, which is on the risk work stream, because it's very important in terms of the risk transfer and the risk takeover to monitor that. In terms of business continuity, the business interruption, then we may expect business interruption due to takeover, the service delivery and reputation risk, the negative publicity of vendor well-being may be impacted. In terms of the mitigation action plans, the current temporary manager to be complemented with additional 550 to 100 personnel as indicated earlier. In terms of the budget and finance, over and under expenditure, the risk is inadequate and inaccurate costing of takeover action plans. The impact could result in service delivery and reputation risks with negative publicity. The mitigation action plans is to review the funding model. Accurate costing and estimates must be done, and that is what the CFO is currently focusing on. In terms of another risk driver, the HR processes / people risks. The risk description is rigid HR processes for full capacitation of the facility. Impact also will be service delivery and reputation risk and negative publicity. The mitigation action plans is strengthen the resourcing and recruitment strategy. I'm almost towards completion, Chair. In terms of the management decisions that were taken and the progress that has been reported since we last presented, the decision by management is that MCC should remain a maximum facility as approved by DCS management. The management area with the area commissioner at salary level 13. HR to conduct continuous job evaluations on the management structure. To advertise internal horizontal transfer posts to be placed 3 months prior to the expiration of the concession contract for a smooth transition, as well as to support the temporary manager. To advertise internal and external posts for MCC, including contracts to be filed after the takeover in line with the Correctional Service Act and relevant resolutions. And then to look at the consultation and communication with relevant stakeholders on decisions and updates by DCS. to avoid uncertainty and service disruptions. I conclude with the recommendations. It is therefore recommended that the Portfolio Committee note the state of readiness by DCS on the takeover of Mangaung Correctional Centre upon natural expiration of the 25-year contract ending on the 30th of June 2026. With that, I submit, Chairperson, Minister, Deputy Minister. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Moodley. Acting NC.
Yes, thank you, Chair, honorable members, Minister and DM. I think that is our report. For now, we will await from the honorable members in terms of the engagement of the report. But for now, this is our presentation to the Portfolio Committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Acting NC. DM, any addition to the presentation that is made?
Thank you very much, Chair. I think for now I am fine because this presentation is not for the first time that we're giving, but now it's an updated status. I think we're fine. We'll take you from the honorable members of the portfolio as they raise questions in terms of the presentation that has been presented. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Diam. Minister, any addition or input?
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Chair, I think just suffice to say that we must just take note because of the fact of the litigation that was actually started in 2023. And of course, it was also after the Thabo Bester incident. And my view, and I've expressed it in public as well, we did not continue with that because it's going to take a lot of money. And I think the best option for DCS as well as the taxpayers is that the contract runs out and it has a natural death. So just to give a background to say why we didn't continue with further litigation. I think that is quite important. The presentation, what is important, it also acknowledges possible risks, and a lot of work will have to be done, but we are dedicated to ensure that there's a smooth takeover then of the MCC. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Thank you so much, Minister. Members, we would have received the presentation as led by RC Moodley, who is responsible for the Northern Cape and Free State, who she is also part of the tax team together with the acting NC, RC Tokolo, who are part of the tax team to deal with the state of readiness and taking over the two facilities being Kutama and Mangaung. I would therefore invite hands for clarities, questions, or any submissions towards the presentations that would have received. Please raise your hands, members. Your gadget should have an icon for hands. So for now, I see Honorable Niehaus. You would come in, Honorable Engelbrecht. You'll follow Honorable Shangase. You will be the third hand, and Honorable Moela will be the fourth one. Please, in that sequence, Honorable Niehaus, you can start.
Please note me, Chair.
I said raise your hands.
Myself and Honorable Gasa, please note us.
But your hand is not up, Honorable Sokopo. Gasa's hand is up.
Okay, Chair. I was just speaking on behalf of the two of us.
Apologies, chairs. I also have the same challenge. I'm using a new gadget and I'm trying to look for the hand. Please add me. It's Member Noluchungu. Apologies.
Noted, Mamnolu. Welcome. Also, you are seconded, Honorable Sokop, by Mamnolu Chungu. So we'll do this, Honorable Niehaus. You will start, Honorable Engel. You'll follow Honorable Moela, No, Honorable, after Engelbrecht is Honorable Shangasa, Honorable Moela, and then Bab Gasa, Mamnolu, and Honorable Sokop. Honorable Niehaus, we are all
Thank
yours.
you, Honorable Chair. And I thank the Department of Correctional Services for this updated report about bringing an end to the ill-fated P project that we've seen. Just as a general comment, Chair, I must say I can't resist to say I told you so many years ago in the first administration when I was chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Correctional Services. I strongly opposed the privatization program that was then forced through by the government, specifically by the African National Congress. I was opposing it, although I was a member of the ANC at that time, and I'm sure the Minister of Correctional Services, Dr. Groenewald, who was at that stage also a member of the Portfolio Committee, will be able to concur that I did not want this program to take place. So the chickens has come home to roost, evidently. I've got a number of questions that I want to raise. The first one, Chair, is that I understand what the Minister says about not proceeding with legal action after G4S then took up legal action in 2023. I understand that it would probably not have been possible to get a more earlier outcome than what is anyhow the date for the 30th of June 2026. But yet I do want to express my feeling that it is unfortunate that we have to put up with G4S until the 30th of June 2026. I base it on the following, Chair. The last presentation that we received from the Department of Correctional Services, the senior Correctional Services officer that is in the oversight role at the Mangaung Correctional Services facility, came to complain to us that his authority is being undermined by G4S. We did not take kindly to that, and also we did not take kindly to him complaining to us because he has the authority to act. So my first question is, has this particular matter been sorted out? And is the authority of the senior correctional services official that is in overall control of the facility now being exerted, or are there still examples of G4S undermining his authority? Secondly, Chair, we have received very disturbing information about the manner in which G4S operated with regards to the unnatural death of Mr. Nkumbeni, and the fact that the G4S officials were apparently coached amongst themselves to withhold certain information about the death of Mr. Nkumbeni. And this obviously was illegal. It was misleading the state. And I want to know if any legal action had been taken against those G4S officials who have acted in this illegal manner. And if such action had been taken, are any of them who have been responsible for this coaching of statements and withholding of information still operational in the Correctional Services facility of Mangaung? I also want to understand from the department what particular actions are being undertaken for us to bridge this period from now until the 30th of June 2026 to avoid further negative publicity or further negative fallout from this facility. We had the terrible Thabo Bester incident. We had the death of Mr. Nkumbeni. Obviously, there must be the fear that there can be more scandals coming out in this interim period. So what steps are being undertaken by the department to avoid further disasters at this already disastrous institution and the manner in which it is being operated? Chair, then I want to understand what consultations are taking place between the department, the PSA, and POPCRO with regards to the takeover, because evidently it is very important that POPCRO and the PSA must understand that in terms of the contract, the Triple P contract, there is no employee consistency, and that those employees who do want to continue to work at the facility will have to apply as anyone else, and that there's no guarantee that they will be able to maintain their jobs. I want to understand what that understanding is with POPCRO and the PSA in this regard, because I'm picking up the possibility of conflict here and potential further legal action being undertaken by these representatives of labor, and how can we avoid this from taking place. That is specifically the issues that have been raised by the District Regional Commissioner under slide number 60. And then finally, Chair, I want to understand what particular steps are being taken to deal with this disjuncture that there seems to be between, on the one hand, the manner in which G4S has been dealing with information, and that it was not best practice in terms of the Department of Correctional Services says needs to be done. And how is the department going to avoid any potential leakages of sensitive personal information of inmates, and what kind of negative sanction, what kind of action can be taken if the G4S fails to maintain this level of security and level of confidentiality. And finally, Chair, the bridge between the healthcare facilities that are currently outsourced and the healthcare facilities that will be insourced by the department now as part of its existing healthcare facilities. Is there any danger that, in addition to the legal action that G4S had taken, that these outsourced companies that have been running these facilities can also potentially take legal action now or at a later stage against the Department of Correctional Services? Overall, Chair, I just want to raise my concern once again that in this interim period, there is a lot of potential for things to go wrong. I'm happy that the department is trying to address most of these issues, but I think it is critically important that we understand how the authority of the Department of Correctional Services, through the senior officer that had been appointed to oversee the facility, is now exerted, and whether there are still any attempts or challenges by G4S to undermine his authority. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Niehaus. Honorable Engel.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the department for this presentation. I've got a couple of questions. So in the presentation, it states that the 90-day takeover failed due to legal challenges. And then further in the presentation, it's also stated that the legal challenges from BCC are still pending in the case. I gather it's with reference to the Thabo Bester debacle that happened. But then, did I understand the minister correct when he says that this litigation was abandoned? I just want to know that. I do agree with him on the one somewhat in terms of given the time that's remaining until the contract expires, legal costs involved and chances of success, I think is, if that's considered, it probably makes better sense to abandon the whole thing, because I don't see a judge handing down judgment before the 30th of June 2026 in this case. You list multiple work teams. Which work team is most behind schedule and what is being done to fix it? This plan uses MCC as a blueprint for KSCC, but given the different contractors and incident history, is a one-size-fits-all approach in this case wise? Clause 61 states BCC employees are not DCS employees. Does your HR plan include a formal process to screen and vet these individuals before considering their employment for DCS? Because as all of us know, there's been numerous things happening in that center that was not supposed to happen there. And obviously there's staff involvement. Your HR plan mentions continuous job evaluations. When will the final management structure and staff establishment be confirmed and funded? Will the horizontal transfer of existing DCS staff to MCC compromise service levels at other facilities? The security work stream mentions updating policies. What specific new protocols are being implemented to prevent security lapses like those under G4S? The information management plan mentions data migration, and Honorable Nia has also touched on this. How will you guarantee that G4S/BCC hands over all inmate records and does not retain copies? Given MCC will remain a maximum security facility, what additional resources will be allocated to maintain the strict access control that you describe? The presentation identifies many risks. Which single risk poses the greatest threat to a smooth takeover on 30 June 2026? How will you ensure the strengthened institutional accountability you mention for a maximum facility is enforced given past oversight failures? And then lastly, the communication plan focuses on stakeholders. What is the specific plan to regularly and transparently update this committee on progress and setbacks? Thank you very much. It's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Honorable Engelbrecht. Honorable Shangase.
Good morning, Chairperson. I'm audible to all members that they hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. You are very much audible, Honorable Shangase.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. The report says that the temporal manager was appointed in March 2023, but the private company is still in charge. There is even suing the department. This means the temporal manager has no real power. How can you prepare to take over a prison when you don't currently control it? This is a pretend solution. And then my question will be, what a real day-to-day operational authority does the temporal manager actually have rights now, and you can provide example of decision they have made that the BCC was forced to obey? And then therefore, Honorable Chairperson, according to this report, says that all the employees will lose their jobs but these are very people who control this security system, feed inmates and run the prison every day. If they become angry or demotivated because of they are losing their job, they could stop working properly or even cause trouble. This is a huge security risk that the plan completely ignores. What specific step are you taking right now to ensure that the current BCC staff who are firing will cooperate and not sabotaging the prison during the sensitive takeover? And then the last question, Honorable Chair, in the issue of communication. The communication plan is just send update when necessary. This is not a plan, it is a recipe for panic, rumors, and misinformation. The staff, inmates, and families and public are in the dark. Poor communication will turn a difficult situation into a chaotic one. Can you provide this committee with the detailed written communication strategy that shows exactly what you will tell each group of the people when you will tell them to prevent chaos and fear during the takeover? Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Shangase. Honorable Moela.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and greetings to the members in the platform, and also greetings to the Minister and the Deputy Minister, Njali Njali, and the DCS officials. And let me also welcome all the members to welcome the presentation with the aim to update us on the readiness to migrate into the correctional service readiness on the triple PPE. So I want to check, Chairperson, I've got a few questions that I need clarity on with regard to the presentation which were made here today. There are a few questions which were already made, which are very much important, which I think they've shed some light in terms of what I wanted to have an understanding on. My first question will be, given the failed 90-day takeover attempt in 2023 and subsequent commitments to revise the plan, what are the updated critical milestones and which ones are currently at risk in this particular regard? Then the next question will be, has the Department of Correctional Services finalized the comprehensive takeover blueprint, including the management structure, HR plan, security architecture, and the ICT integration? And if not, what are the remaining bottlenecks in this particular regard? The other one, what is the HR state of readiness? Specifically, how many critical posts have been identified? How many are already filled or advertised? And what is the plan to avoid a staffing vacuum on day one on the proceedings of the migration? Then the other one is, what is the department's risk mitigation plan to prevent disruptions such as escapes, unrest, labor instability, or service interruptions during the transition phase? And also, Honorable Chair, I want to check with regard to the problems of overcrowding that we're having in our respective correctional services or correctional centers. With this migration, I understand that these private centers were in compliance with regard to the issue of overcrowding, where when we've got 300 beds, we'll have 300 heads that will found in these particular facilities. Is there any aim or any plan to to mitigate the issue of overcrowding through this particular migration, or are we going to maintain the full standard of non-overcrowding in these particular facilities? Is there any plan from the department to then use this particular facility, since they are taking over, to mitigate the issue of overcrowding, or are we going to maintain the standard of a ratio of bed per each offender? So that will be my questions for now, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Muela. Babkasa.
Thank you, Chair. I think I'm audible enough now.
Yes, Babkasa.
Thank you. Okay, then, Chair, my worry is about sending between 50 and 100 DCS officials to Mangaung 3 months before takeover. That one is a bit too late, because these officials are entering a high-risk maximum prison run by a private company that is fighting the department in court. So they will not know the systems and inmates. So how will the department ensure the safety of these 100 officials and prevent a complete breakdown in security during the first few critical months? And the financial plan as well, it's a bit worrying. It talks about reprioritizing the budget. And this often means that taking money from other critical services to pay for this takeover. There is a clear sign, or there is a clear risk of underfunding, which will lead to failure as well. So exactly which other programs or prisons will have their budget cut to pay for the Mangaung takeover? My last question, I think Shangase has asked that question, but I would like to find out, is there any plan of working with the Department of Labor to manage the mass unemployment that the department is going to create in Mangaung, and to ensure these skilled workers are prioritized for new jobs at the prison? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Babkasa. Mamnolu.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning to you. And greetings to the Department of Correctional Services delegation and the honorable members. First, I want to welcome the presentation, particularly the decision not to continue with the litigation. Most of my questions were centered around the state of readiness. If we were to win the case and say, you've won the case and then now take over, because I was looking at the staffing and other aspects that have been mentioned by the honorable members in terms of the state of readiness. But I will not dwell on that, because it has been covered by the minister, mentioning that they have withdrawn the case. Now, just for interest's sake, I would like to know, what is the total cost of these contracts for both facilities per month? In actual way, how much do you pay these private companies per month? And then my second question would be, there is an official that was suspended for the death of Mr. Mkhubeni. How far is that, and can you give us a progress on that? And then finally, I would recommend that, you put strict measures, in terms of monitoring the compliance of the two contracts, given the remaining period. If you look at Mangaung, you are left with only a few months, and then the other one is just over a year. And for you to implement strict monitoring mechanism and make sure that you implement the penalty so that we can recoup whatever monies that we have lost. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Mamnolu. Honorable Sokopo.
Thank you, Chair, and greetings to yourself, the committee, the Minister, Deputy Minister, and the Department of Correctional Service. Chair, I want to start where Honorable Gas have ended. And my point I want to bring home, Chair, is it is now known, we have seen it in a portfolio committee where the acting person from the department, Mashabataka, came to report to the committee. Clearly, the relationship between the private company, G4S, and DCS is not sound. I doubt, Chair, for that reason and many other reasons that I would state, that I don't think there will be a smooth takeover for DCS. Because in order for DCS to have a smooth takeover, there must have been cooperation with the ones that they are taking over from. Is there extraordinary steps DCS have in place now that it is already foreseeable from where I'm seated, foreseeable that there is going to be a challenge? What makes it worse, Chair, this is not a takeover of a church or a building. It's takeover of a facility that has high security risk. As it is said that it's a maximum facility. Another question, Chair, if we look into takeover, ensuring the continuity of operations, what systems are in place to guarantee that, because they are currently using some ICT systems and so forth, to migrate the data of including the records of offenders and any other thing that is digital? What plan is there to do that migration? You might have security vulnerabilities that has been proven in assessments. What are the funding and timelines to address these situations before the contract ends? What is your total cost budget to take over? Have the National Treasury prove it? Chair, I would have also suggest that the department gives your office a to-do list. In March, they must come again. I suggest they come again and give this committee how far they are, so that we will be in a position to compare notes on what they have submitted as a plan. Maybe this report does have that. Then in March, they come back and says, this is how far we are. Remember, with all the court and whatever that they're going through, the department is now going to take over, like the former honorable member Nkulungu have asked, an income from a company. A company is going to lose an income here. I don't think although they know that it's the end of their contract, but I don't think they are happy or ready to lose that. So I'm sure where they are, there was possibilities of extension, and as the look of things, there's no extension. The department is ready. Thank you, Chair.
And thank you so much, Honorable Sokopo. I think I concur with you that the takeover of a facility would become seamless if there was cooperation from whoever you're supposed to be taking over from. But with how history would have shown us in terms of the department and how it relates with G4S, and G4S would have been the one that is appointed to manage the facility by the consortium. Because of the facility, it's under a consortium, which G4S is part of it and equally being contracted to manage the facility. So with how it has been back and forth between the department and G4S, then one wonders if the taking over would be seamless as expected and there would be cooperation in that regard. Perhaps the department should be able to take us in detail if there is that. And since there is a decision that you let go of a litigation to allow the contract to end, which would be in June, so that then you don't have any comebacks. Another matter would be the risk mitigation plans, if the department has it or is able to draft it to prevent any disruptions such as escapes, labor instability, or any service interruptions during the transitional phase, if the department has that mitigation plan. Because if you follow the history of the facility itself, with a number of escapes that they have been escapes that were uncovered during the Thabo Bester era that the management of the facility would have hidden to the department, because an escape warrants a certain fee, a penalty fee that needs to be paid to the department. And so in order for them not to be able to pay that fee, they would have then hidden such escapes. So I'm raising this on that basis, that wouldn't we encounter such things? And I think RC Moodley would be, even though both two facilities report directly to the head office, I think RC Moodley would be aware that during that phase of the Thabo Bester, there are other escapes which were hindered, and which they would have also, G4S confirmed that they have happened. And it was an issue now of penalties. But how do we mitigate to make sure that there isn't any disruption to that regard? So those are my clarities, adding on what members would have echoed. So I'll hand over to the minister and the team to respond. Minister, you can come in.
I'm coming in. Thank you, Honourable Chair. Chair, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that what the honourable members are raising, and can I say risk identified, risk the questions, are very valid. And of course, it is like one member has said, this is not just the taking over of a building or anything like this. It's a high, can I say, high or a facility which is classified. And of course, we have to ensure that we do our utmost best to ensure that we don't have, for instance, strikes, escapes, and all that sort of problems that can have a detrimental effect on the inmates. Let me start by also saying that, can I say to the Honourable Mias, unfortunately, I cannot concur with what you said in the 90s of the portfolio committee. I've not been on that portfolio committee. I've been on the police portfolio committee. I also want to refer to the Honourable Engelbrecht and the alignment. He actually referred to our functions with DCS structure and post establishments. Can I just say, Honourable Chair, there's a print on the findings. It says the type of management structure options were presented to the executive of DCS. It's not the executive, it must be the National Commissioner. It has not been presented to the executive, just that correction there. I also want to say that we must remember that, and I understand the concerns raised in terms of G4S, but G4S is a subcontract for MCC. And DCS, Correctional Services, we have no, can I say, authority over G4S or part of, can I say, the management of that. That's purely a matter between MCC and G4S. And we take note, of course, of the situation as been raised on the risk on that. We must always understand that in a contract such as this, is that there is some, can I say, whole process also in the contract where, for instance, a private company must give their cooperation to ensure that there is a smooth takeover because of the fact that we are talking here of a maximum center. So we are looking into that, but I will, through you, Honourable Chair, there are specific questions, and we have the members of the task team, through you, to the acting National Commissioner, and then they can answer all the other detailed questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister. DM?
Thank you very much, Chair, and let's appreciate the input and questions from the honourable members of the portfolio. Chair, I think some of the matters we really appreciate that has been raised by the honourable members. But also, Chair, to say in terms of the contract that the department has, because there was a time where we've met with the lawyers, the minister, the lawyers, and the NC on the litigation matters. Yeah, winning and finalizing that matter, it's not a nearby issue. But my understanding is that if a department has a contract with a service provider, because the court has delayed, we put that aside, but the contract is ending. Yes, I understand the fears or concern raised by honorable members of saying the hostility in taking over. This has clauses and the steps on how we should follow in terms of how we deal with that contract as it lapses. Hence, earlier the department came before the portfolio to present, but also on the presentation, it highlights stakes taken in terms of issues raised by honorable members, like your takeover plan, where HR has a process in deploying members there 3 months prior the lapse of the contract, so that we familiarize with the running of the system and the training on these new staff to operate this new asset verification before the actual verification happens. So there's quite a plan that is there, and today they have put it concretely to say we would be doing. Remember also the fear to say these officials are not familiar with the surrounding or the facility, but these are officials that are from the DCS who knows and has operated in maximum prison. But also there's that training on time to time in terms of familiarizing with those. And on the issues raised on the budget, remember also while there was triple P, but the budget for that triple P was there. On the presentation, it reflects that their budget for the triple P now will be now moved to be a normal operating budget. So yes, there would be some adjustment there and there, but also the consultation, because issues of unrest were raised, but also that component of labor consultation that was done with the PSA and POP crew, it gives us a bit of a comfort in terms of not having hostility. But here, we're no longer dealing with that dispute of cancelling the contract. Now it's more focused on saying the contract is lapsing, and in terms of the clauses, it's guided when the department can start coming in and making sure. And part of the things HR has done, which was supposed to be starting yesterday, it's the memo that has been approved to say they must start advertising internally, but also external, and finalize it in January, so that those that must be appointed, remember those debriefing sessions and consultations when they were done, is to prepare for this. But all the things like the minister has said, yes, backup plan, and I think the team that is leading that must really come also on time to time as the 6 months come closer, brief the executive on really fears if they have, but where they are and how they presented the matters. Yes, we're getting there, but once contract lapses, it has lapsed. You'll not sit and expect to operate where your contract has lapsed. That's my take, Chair. Thank you. But most of the issues, like the minister said, we'll refer them to administration, because that team, it's a team that is dealing with the day-to-day, and they will give those responses at the operational level. Thank you, Chair and Minister.
Thank you so much, DM. Acting MC?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And as indicated earlier on, we are a team here where there are areas that are missed, then team members will follow to provide honorable members with some responses. I will start with Honorable Nehhouse from the beginning. I'm not going to be dealing with the issue of the legal actions, as the minister has already attended to it. Now, most honorable members have asked the authority of the temporary manager at Mangaung, Mr. Mashabataka. When we sent Mr. Mashabataka there, it was initially for the 90-day takeover process. Now, we decided as the department that as part of the preparations, we are not going to draw Mr. Mashabataka, even when the legal processes were stalled, simply to ensure that he grasps all the functioning and the performance of Mangaung. Now, in terms of his authority there, because the center is not totally under our control in terms of day-to-day, he does not have the total authority over the Mangaung Correctional Centre in terms of their operation. But in terms of monitoring and ensuring that they adhere to the contractual obligation, in terms of what honorable members have raised before, that there were certain underhand activities that were taking place. Us to keep him there is to ensure that he becomes an ear and an eye for the Department of Correctional Services. He's not alone. There are also a controller and some other junior members that are with him in that facility. So that is the reason why we kept him there. Now, I'm going to couple that with the additional official that the Honorable DM has also covered on the additional staffing that we have identified that they need to go and beef Mangaung. We need to indicate that the very same process was followed during the 90 days, but unfortunately, because the legal processes, we could not put those officials there. Now that we have got a natural expiration of the contract, those officials will be there. They will be there at the expense of the department, not at the expense of the contractor, because it is for the interest of the department that we have our smooth transition. Furthermore, the Department of Correctional Services, in terms of the security structures, we also have correctional centers under the Department of Correctional Services that also have almost more or less similar security structures. I can think about in element about Zanin and Standard Correctional Center, and then I think Dr. Bwota is at liberty to inform the honorable members about in terms of the system that we have in terms of the operational system. So that is the objective of sending the 50 to 100 members there before the actual takeover, so that they can learn everything. Over and above, we also have got a lot of maximum facilities in the Department of Correctional Services, as we had a slide presentation regarding the number of maximum facilities that we have in our department. So I want to assure the honorable members that those processes are being undertaken by the task team and the branches that the Department of Correctional Services have. Now, the second matter was with regard to the unnatural death of offender Mpongweni. What any legal action taken against the culprits. I think in that regard, we will definitely provide the investigation report and the actions that were taken against all those that have been involved in the process of this unnatural death of an offender. So we might not be in a position to provide these now, honorable members, but the investigation has been commissioned, and we will inform the honorable members about what has been done for that, what is being done. I think it's similar application. What are the officials still involved? Are they still employed? So we'll provide those details in terms of the investigation and the entire process that has been undertaken. I think there's also the question of what is the DCS doing before the takeover to ensure that we avoid further scandals. I've already indicated, honorable members, that the sending over of the 50 to 100 officials is precisely that, to ensure that we are at every unit, every operational center of Mangaung. Let me further indicate that the 50 officials will not only be 50 to 100 officials will not only be restricted to security officials. We have indicated that the medical has been outsourced, pharmaceutical service has been outsourced, any other professional service that has been outsourced. We have these professionals within the Department of Correctional Services that will be able to be deployed there specifically to see each and every operational unit under Mangaung, whether insourced or outsourced. So they will be there. The advantage that we also have is that fraud play management area, it is just a strong throw away from Mangaung Correctional Centre. So where there is a need to bring in services from fraud play, it will be done under the Department of Correctional Services. Now, I will couple that with the question that was also raised to say, what is HR doing to conduct continuous job evaluation on the management structure? This is precisely to say, if we deploy 50 to 100 officials 3 months prior, our continuous evaluation will be that, are they enough? Can we do more? Remember, we even said that there will be another advent by the 1st of January 2026. So this process, it is not a process that you are going to send these 50 people, 100 people, then we stop. The task team will be meeting continuously. The branches and the work streams will be meeting continuously and do each and every evaluation. But because the staffing the responsibility of HR, that's why we are saying that we will be doing this continuous job evaluation to ensure that any gaps that are identified prior to the takeover are being addressed. The question of the construction labor, I think the Honorable DM has already touched on that. I'm not gonna go on that because we recognize that labor is our critical stakeholders. What we will do, as honorable members have asked, is that we will be able to provide the communication strategy. But we said that before we agree with labor on the communication strategy. We will not be able to issue it out because we want them to be part and parcel of this process. We don't want to run it unilaterally. There should be a thorough consultation and understanding precisely to address this risk of uncertainty and disruption of services. Because if we don't do that, we might have a situation where labor distances itself from the communication that the department is issuing. So both POCRO and PSA, they are very key towards the takeover of the process. The issue of leaking sensitive information, obviously, is the risk that we need to manage. We said in one of our work stream there, we indicate that the personal suitability of officials has been done. Now, obviously, if there are people that are under Mangaung at the moment, we said when the contract expires on the 30th of June, there is no job guarantee. So we should definitely go to check each and every record of employees under the BCC at the moment that are working there. If they will be found of any misconduct, of any ill behavior that might undermine the running of the department. But if there are officials that will be found leaking important information, these officials will definitely be dealt with in terms of the Department of Correctional Services Code of Conduct. And then with regard to the breaches that the G4S is having, I think we have our CBC rehabilitation that is being overseen this process both on the two private facilities to ensure that if there are any breaches, then fines are being instituted against the offenders. The question on the risk of medical legal suit, I think what we'll do, obviously, when we take over each and every offender, we are going to make sure that the offenders, the medical processes are there, they are being checked, their files, their conditions. Hence, I said earlier on that we are not only going to take over or deploy security officials, but all professionals will be deployed there so that we don't wait the 1st of July to have these professionals starting to look on the files of inmates. That risk will definitely be dealing with it through the process of 3 months deployment. Then the questions of Honorable Ellen Brett, say which work stream is behind on what is being done at the moment. I need to say to the honorable members that at this moment, all work streams are on par in terms of the plan. There is no work stream that is behind, and then we are definitely on par in terms of the work that's been done. Then the issue of the different sites fits all for the blueprint for Kutama and Mangaung. We are saying that the fortunate part at Kutama, majority of the professional services are insourced. Your nutrition, your medical, your education, they are in-house. So it is not going to be difficult in terms of us taking over Kutama Sintumule, because the work that we have done at Mangaung will make it easy for us. And currently, there are no legal challenges between ourselves and Kutama Sintumule that will delay the process. So hence we are saying that what the pain that we are undergoing at the moment will definitely be used and it will be lessened because most of their services are in-house. So, and there are no current legal challenges that we are having. I've already spoken about the screening of the officials that we were taking consideration. I think some honorable members have asked about the issue of unemployment. Our plan is taking that into consideration that one way or the other, our negotiations with labor, which have an interest in terms of their members being employed, will have to take into consideration that there are employees at Mangaung that are currently there. But we are saying that we have got our Correctional Services Act that regulates employment in the department. We also have got specific OSD dispensation per each and every professional. So, for example, Correctional Services Act does not allow any person over the age of 60 to be employed under the correctional services. So, therefore, any other person at Mangaung that is above 60 and is currently employed as a security official will definitely not be considered because the act automatically kicks him out. So, we'll be taking those into consideration, and each and every official that we do, then we are going to do the proper screening. I've already dealt with the question of continuous screening of official. Okay. Also, the issue of security lapses. Yes, we are aware of various security lapses at Mangaung that has taken place. Like I've indicated that the objective of having this team that is going to support the temporary manager there and keeping him there is ensure that we are mitigating this risk of the security lapses that are taking place. Now, the data migration in terms of the files. Now, we have got a process, and it's also part of our plan, of called roll call in the Department of Correctional Services. When the Thabo Western matter happened, among other shortcomings that we have discovered that Mangaung Correctional Centre were not doing the physical roll call on offenders. So, therefore, among other improvements, when we introduced the temporary manager there, was to ensure that monthly roll calls are being done. And what is this monthly roll call? That you physically compare the fingerprints on a warrant with the offender. You do that physically. So you can make sure that the offender in front of you takes fingerprints, compare, and you put the warrant aside and you do to all 2,928 offenders every month, and certifications is being sent to confirm that roll call is being done. And the temporary manager is enforcing that to be done. So therefore, in terms of the data migration, unfortunately, electronically, we won't be able to do it before the takeover, but our IT has already done all this, the necessities, and they've seen which areas they needed to do. So we'll be able, we are covered on that one in terms of that. But the key thing is the physical matching of warrants with the offender in front of us. That is being done. We have already spoken about the additional resourcing. Okay, I think we also spoke about this, the risk. Yes, we will identify the risks that are most critical. And then to us, the most critical risk, honorable members, is the issue of uncertainty and disruption of services. And if the services can be undermined, can be disrupted, system can be switched off, people do not report for work, that to us will be the most critical risk. So therefore, I think honorable members are aware that the Department of Correctional Services have got a team that we normally deploy in this risky situation that is called the emergency support team. That in the event we have that, then just deploy the immediate support team that as we move on, we are going to identify them and put them on standby in the event that they will have to come to this situation. But we are saying, if we have clear understanding, communication with labor, we don't see that we will have this risk that we need to worry about, but we are going to manage that. I've already spoken about the communication about labor. Then Honorable Changase also had the issue of the temporary manager. And then we've also responded on the day-to-day operational authority of this temporary manager. I've addressed the issue of what people losing their jobs, the awareness that they could stop. That I think I covered. And then I've also the issue that to ensure what steps will be taken to ensure that the BC staff are not sabotaging the takeover. I think we said that the deployment will ensure, and our decision to keep the temporary manager there is to mitigate against this risk. We are aware, honorable members, that there is this potential of them sabotaging the system. There is this thing to say they will not want to have this smooth transition. So we definitely have taken this into consideration. We are continuously and then evaluating. We have actually even said that we will, as the task team and the branches, on a weekly basis, monitor our activities and check what is happening at Mangaung Correctional Centre. Okay, I've already responded on that. And then there was a question by Honorable Muela. And then okay. Yes. Then there was a question of maintenance of the bed space. Yes, as indicated that there are currently new generation facilities in the department. That bed space does not make provision for you to increase. If the cell accommodates 10 people, then the beds are made in such a way that they are for 10 people. So unless you build another infrastructure, then you can increase the bed space. So the current bed space will remain, and we have also identified that we have a lot of maximum sentence offenders in our facilities. Hence, the decision was taken that we are going to remain with that facility being a maximum. And the other question that the takeover plan, it is because this task team and the branches that we are continuously meeting, developing and updating our plan. Indeed, we have our plan, and that is we are also presenting the plan to our honorable members. Then I touch on the issue of the security and IT. And then the position that need to be filled, we have in terms of the needs. I think HR will also cover the number of positions that we have identified there, and those positions will be filled through the normal advertisement that will be taking place. When we take over, we might not fill all the positions at the same time. Like we continue doing the recruitment, then we will also be doing the recruitment for Mangaung. But I'll allow HR to give us the numbers of those, specifically how many positions are there in terms of them. And then the areas of the budget, I'm going to leave the areas of the budget to the CFO to deal with that. And then on the Honorable Gasa, I think I've already dealt with the issue of the 50-50, and then also issued the budget prioritization. Then the CFO will be dealing with that. And then the questions on Honorable Nolishangu, and then that the total cost for the two facilities per month, the CFO will be also dealing with that. And on the suspended official on the death of Vendam Pongureni, I think I've already responded to that. That's what the department will be doing. We are going to provide the investigation report. And then
Acting NC, it's
yes. Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Not in Gubeni. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. So we'll be able to provide the investigation report. And then we also responded on the important measures that we have taken before the takeover, and that there are also penalties that are implemented in terms of what it is being done at those areas that they are not complying with. But I think I'm also going to allow the acting director just to detail the recent implementation of the penalties that has been done or implemented effective at Mangaung. And we, with regard to the question of Honorable Scopo, indeed, I think both the Honorable Minister and Honorable TM alluded to the fact that we are aware that it's not going to be a smooth transition. But as the department, we are ready to ensure that when the time comes, and then we are able to take the Mangaung to the Department of Correctional Services. And then I think I've already spotted on the issue of the record of offenders and then the security vulnerability that will continue to, as we place those officials there, I think they will also go into give us up to date. I think as this task team and the branches will not be resting to ensure that there is a smooth transition. And I think with the areas that the Honorable Chair also have emphasized, I've responded on them. And then with regard to what will be done in terms of to avoid the escapes, any other thing during the takeover, because we'll be taking experienced official from Department of Correctional Services, I think honorable members. If you check in terms of our escapes record under correctional services in maximum facilities, that they are very much minimal in our maximum facility. So we'll be deploying those experienced officials that have got experience of working with maximum offenders, and then to ensure that these risks are being minimized. But I'm going to stop there, Honorable Chair, and then I'm going to hand over to my team members to respond some of the questions that I could not attend to. The CFO will be the first on the block. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Can I hand over to the CFO?
Yes, Acting NC, Marumula, come through.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning to the honorable members of the Portfolio Committee. Greetings to the Minister, Deputy Minister, and also the National Commissioner and the minister that are in the platform. Just to deal with the issue, I'll start with the amount that we're paying to the two triple Ps. It fluctuates, but it's consistent in terms of approximately 45 million per correctional center. So in both correctional centers, the department spent almost actually between 90 and 95 million every month to pay actually the two centers. Just to go to the question relating to the reprioritization that was asked by Honorable Gaza, that as the Deputy Ministers indicated, that what we have done when we're preparing our budget for the MTEF and the AENE, we have communicated with National Treasury that the operational budget, that 45 million that we're spending on the operational budget. So that particular budget has been segmented now from the 1st of July under the COE, goods and services transfer subsidies. That's the reprioritization that is going to be taking place for the Mangaung Correctional Centre. And also just to be able to indicate that from that particular budget, obviously is going to be informed in terms of the number of people that will be, or employees that will be employing specifically in terms of that. But that's how our reprioritization will be planned. But Treasury is working closely with us specifically in terms of ensuring that from that we comply, and then on the 1st of July 2026, we don't have actually any issues. It is a continuous engagement between us and Treasury. But what is of importance, Chair and the Minister, Deputy Minister, and always make sure that from that particular allocation is indeed consistent with whatever that we've been allocated, specifically in terms of whatever requirements that as the department we are looking. So we're not going to have actually any challenges in that particular space because of Treasury's already know, and then they'll be able to make recommendations relating to that. I think let me just stop there, Chair. That was the issue of the budget. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Can I request the acting CDC incarceration to talk on the systems and security?
Thank you, Acting National Commissioner. Good morning to the Honourable Chairperson, committee members, and also my executive. Chairperson, in terms of the work stream that's responsible for security, but also for facilities, I can report that During the period of the concession agreement, we have conducted frequent dilapidation surveys at the facility. So in terms of the work relationship between DCS and the directorate responsible for facilities at G4S, we maintain that relationship. And perhaps I can just provide comfort by saying that there's a good relationship between our facilities management and facilities of management of the contractor, in the sense that there's good cooperation in terms of providing sketch plans, updated reports in terms of the equipment life cycle and so forth. So at this stage, we have all that information in terms of as-built drawings, also asset registers in terms of equipment, but also in terms of the security systems. So, Chairperson, when we look at the security system, and the acting National Commission already indicated, in terms of the new generation design, the unit management principle, we are familiar with regard to that design, and also familiar with that type of approach. So in terms of the facility, it's nothing new to the correctional services. So I'm comfortable that we'll be able to manage that facility once we take it over. The Chairperson, I think from a takeover perspective, it will be prudent that we, before actually on the day of the actual takeover, we should have control room operators in the facility that will be able to operate the systems. I can just mention, for example, at the facility, we have a total of 27 local control rooms. We also have 3 central control rooms with a lot of infrastructure. We have that inventory list here. But it will be important for us just to, before the takeover, that we have control room operators on site, and that is part of our plan going into the takeover process. But from a facilities and security perspective, in terms of the action plan, we're up to date. It's just a matter that we need to maintain the plan, and if there's new risk identified during the course of the takeover process from now going forward, we just need to amend our risk register going forward. So, Chairperson, from my side, that is the inputs that I need to present. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Chair. Can I request CDC HR, CDC Bond, to provide the side of HR?
Is CDC Bond there?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to you and to the other honourable members. I just am going to clarify the issue of the number of posts that we need to fill by the time of the takeover, as raised by Honourable Moela. The number of posts that are required in terms of the management area option that has been approved is 780. So we will need to fill 780 positions. I think the acting National Commissioner has addressed the rest of the HR issues that were raised. Thank you, Honourable Chairperson and Honourable members.
Before you move CDC Bond, is it 708 or is 780?
780, Honourable Chairperson.
Okay, thanks. Acting NC.
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to request the acting Director of Contract Management, Advocate Mahlangu, just to talk on the issues of penalties.
Thank you, Acting National Commissioner, the Minister, Deputy Minister, Honourable Chair, and the committee. With regard to the observation notices, I think the committee should take note that we've already issued observation notices with regard to the assault and the murder of inmate Umbeni, and also the certification of employment for the officials that are involved have also been revoked. So we have done something as the department, and we are continuing to follow up on the arrest. The member is currently with SAPS, and the 4 officials have been arrested. Thank you, Acting NC.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. That will be the response from the Department of Correctional Services, and we are going to pause the Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much, Acting NC. DM, any additions?
Thank you very much, Chair. I think I'm covered with the responses. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister, any additions?
No additions, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Members, were all your questions answered? Were all questions that you would have raised answered? Honorable Niehaus?
Thank you, Chair. Just as a matter of clarification, it is in fact Mr. Mpho Mkubeni. I just checked the reports. So that was the surname of the inmate that passed on. Regarding to that, I asked a specific question about what actions are being taken against all the officials that have been involved in misleading the law and therefore making themselves guilty of defending the ends of justice. I heard some remark about that there will be a report on this, but evidently it's not just the one official that had been suspended, that there was a much broader group of prison wardens from G4S involved in this cover-up. What action is being taken to deal with them? We can't let them off the hook. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Niehaus. Members?
Thank you, Chair.
All our questions. Mamnolu?
Thank you, Chair. I have not been answered as to how much do the private companies get paid per month? The two private companies, how much do they get paid per month?
Mamnolu, I think they did answer. They said it's 45 million per month, which would be around 90 to 95 million for both Kutama and Mangaung per month on those contracts.
Sorry, Chair, I didn't get that. Thank you very much.
Most welcome, Mamnolu. So I'll take it. All questions have been answered. CFO, I did represent you correctly on the amounts.
Yes, Chair, thank you.
Okay. Members, any follow-ups? We don't have any follow-ups. Okay. I do. Since we've learned that it's around 45 million per facility, which could be around 90 to 95, both combined. Have we managed to do the cost breakdown as the department on how much it will cost the department per month to run each facility in terms of operations? Now we've taken out the contractors. In this instance, let's say it's Mangaung, we've taken out G4S. It's now us as the department taking over running the facility on how we're running this other 242 or 241 facilities. How much will it cost us to run each of those facilities? Acting NC and CFO, do we have we done that feasibility?
Yes, Honorable Chair, I think I'll allow the CFO to provide the information as requested.
Thanks, Chair. Just to indicate that we did that particular cost breakdown in terms of financial year, but these amounts are subject to change. I'm gonna speak to the amount that have been submitted to National Treasury on the 26th of September 2025. In terms of Mangaung, I just need to be careful because they are combined, and I'll speak to Mangaung only. In terms of Mangaung, the COE, we've done actually the cost breakdown to indicate that it's going to be 170 million, as I've indicated, it will be subject to change, and goods and services 147 million per financial year, transfer subsidies 1.5 million, payments of capital assets 750, and total it will be 319 million in a period of actually 12 months. And then moving to the 27-28 financial year, COE 244, non-personal 232, transfer subsidies 1.5, payments of capital 850, and then the total 579. And you go to 28, I mean the next financial year, which is supposed to be 28-29 financial year, COE 255, goods and services 347, transfer subsidies 1.5, payments 1 million, and also total of 605. So these were the figures, Chair, that we had to submit something to Treasury, as I've indicated that when this particular amounts will change specifically in terms of the quantities, specifically in terms of the COE, the number of employees that will be employing. But this is what we've submitted today. But we did that particular breakdown, Chair, just to answer the question shortly. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. So based on the breakdown, CFO and acting NC, department taking over both facilities, are we saving costs or what? Because there's an assertion from the contractors when they want to have an audience with the portfolio committee. They make assertions that actually the contracts that are in place, they are cost saving for the department, instead of the department taking over running of both the facilities. So I want to get an indication. Are we saving cost if we are taking over the facilities based on the expenditure, the cost of expenditures that we would have done, or the cost breakdown that you would have done, or we are escalating, the cost goes higher? So I wanted to get that indication. Acting NC and CFO.
Thanks, Chair. I think we will work on that and submit to the portfolio committee in terms of what you have submitted to the Treasury and vis-a-vis the current situation. But if you do simple mathematics, Chair, your current 45 million per month times 12, it goes to about 540 million per month. And in terms of the first projection by the CFO, it gives us around 390 million for the following year. So already there is a massive savings from 540 million per month. If we go with the 45 times 12, vis-a-vis the 390 million that we will be able to incur the following year. But we will do the actual submission check so that we can talk on accuracy. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Mamnolu?
No, thank you, Chair. I'm covered. I was going to suggest that they submit what they have submitted so that we can do our own analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mamnolu. I think there are no other follow-ups on members. Let's then wrap up and get way forward. On HR matters, we have noted a great progress and plans on matters that relates to HR. We will be paying a special focus on this, on HR issues in this coming months or next year in 2026, if God permits. And we'll continue seeking request updates on the recruitment process that you are entering into. And then on organized labor, we do commend the department or yourselves in engaging with organized labor during this process. And we urge you to continue with those engagements to assist with a smooth cross transfer in terms of recruitment of employees. So when we come back in 2026 next year, CDC Bond will be able to take us through that 780 recruitment process. And then on infrastructure, both facilities are in good state. In actual fact, they are the best facilities that you have in DCS. And they are an investment to government. So the department, you should have a clear maintenance plan for these facilities, and especially now for the Mangaung one, which would come to effect after the 30th of June. There should be a maintenance plan on how, when you take over the facilities, how you're going to maintain that facility, because it's the state of the art. And we wouldn't want to, in the next coming year or 2 years, have a similar situation of what we're seeing in other facilities. So it should be maintained as it is and as you would have found it immediately after you would have taken over the facility. So we would equally be paying more focus or attention on making sure that maintenance plans are adhered to and they are enforced. And we'll continue with our oversight on the Mangaung facility takeover process. And this would include us having a meeting next year between March or April, depending on how programming would be programming for 2026, first quarter or first term, and as well as having an oversight visit in Mangaung, possibly after the takeover process or during the last month, which would be ideally June, before you then take over, to just get a sense from the department to get operational plans, the cost breakdown, the HR matters in terms of transition, the ICT migration process, including security matters, so that we know we equally have confidence that the transitional phase is indeed in progress and will not have any issues surrounding those matters. It would also be important that you do forward us that cost breakdown on how are we saving as a department on both the facilities, as we have indicated now, how much it costs the department how much the department is spending on both Kutama and Mangaung in terms of costs every month and per annum, and you do the similar thing with the department taking over both the facilities, how much it will cost the department and how much are we saving per month and equally per annum on both those facilities, so that we can then make a distinction whether the assertions that are made by those who are currently awarded the contract in both the centers of saying they are actually saving the department more money than the department taking over, whether those assertions are true or not, or they're just trying to make sure that they get an extension in their contract. And then on the death of Mpom Kumbeni, it's Mpom Kumbeni, not Ngubeni or Ngubeni, it's Mkumbeni. On the death of an inmate, Mpom Kumbeni, on the report, on the investigation report, the consequences and the remedial action process that you would have alluded to or talking to, we would get this report and would have a meeting that will be our first meeting in 2026. Ideally, possibly it will be around January or February, depending also on programming. when are they saying portfolio committees must start sitting? Because of normally we sit before the State of the Nation address, or we sit after and allow the week before the State of the Nation address to become oversight. So we'll see how programming decide their program. That will then talk to our portfolio committee program. So we would receive a report on all investigations reports. All investigations reports, because when we're in Polsmo, we've learned that all investigations that are currently in place, their reports are due on the 15th of December. So the first meeting of the portfolio committee would receive all investigations report. That would include the investigation report on the death of Mpomkumbeni, the investigation report on the death of an inmate in Mr. Quinton in Goodwood, investigation report on the death of the 2 inmates in the 201 in Oudtshoorn, and equally get an investigation report on the earners' release of inmates in Polsmo facility. So all those investigations would have concluded or submitted to the National Commissioner's Office by the 15th of December. So we expect all the reports before the portfolio committee in our first meeting, including remedial actions that the department would have taken after receiving those investigations report and the consequence to it. And lastly, I've received an email from the RC of KZN. I believe he's suspended. And I think the email was addressed to myself and the minister and so forth. If we can, acting NC, liaise with the National Commissioner, if we can be furnished with a report on the matter. We would not want to enter into administrational matters, but I believe we've been getting a lot of these emails from the RC, whether the portfolio committee should have an audience on this matter or not, but that will be dependent on the report that we'll receive. So do relay the message to the National Commissioner that would request he sends a report on the matter because of these sessions or the RC makes indication that his suspensions, apparently there are 3 or 2, they're unlawful and so forth. So if we can be finished with that report. So department led by the minister and the DM, those are the recommendations we're putting to yourselves as the portfolio committee. All outstanding reports that are required, you need to submit. Kindly do submit them to the portfolio committee so that by next year we do not have any outstanding reports, including CDC bond, the issues we raised in Zonderwater College. We're still waiting for the reports. And also of the head of the center lying to the portfolio committee. So we're still waiting for those reports. Please do finish. We did get on the clarification of the payment of the learners and showing that they were on the payroll system to be paid. So that is sorted out. And we would urge that please make sure that that matter of the learners not being able to be paid on time does not repeat itself on this current intake and the intake that should follow after them. So thank you so much for joining through the portfolio committee. It would have been great. It would have been great to see you in person so that we are equally able to say our goodbyes properly and wish everyone well in this festive season. Do drive safely, those who would be driving back to their families. to make sure that you drive safely and you keep safe during this time of festivities, so that we're able to see each other back again in 2026 and continue where we left off with the work of the department, equally the work of the portfolio committee. So I do wish you, all of you, well, and wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance. Abadimu le Modimo ba nne le lena, and make sure that they keep you safe at all times. So the meeting with yourselves as the department, as led by the minister and the deputy minister, stands adjourned. Will remain with members for 5 minutes to continue with ours as the portfolio committee. But before I close, let me give the minister and the deputy minister to say some few words with regards to the festivities, or wishing the department and both the portfolio committee well. DM?
Thank you very much, Chair. Let's take this opportunity and appreciate that God has given us life until this December. It has not been easy. And we appreciate, since we've joined the portfolio committees, remaining accountable to your good self, we became wiser. And every input from each member is taken very seriously. And it has been a rocky up and down year, but we have managed to stick together. And yeah, this portfolio has worked and has pulled us really. And hopefully all those reports that you are requesting, administration, acting NC and the team and the NC will make sure that we are not disappointing in that regard, so that next year as we start clean. We wish everybody safe holidays with the families. Spend that time with families. Let's stay away from the roads. They are quite busy. And we wish to see each other in 2026 fully charged and taking this portfolio forward and making sure that we work. And I hope would also encourage those that are drinking not to drink and drive, so that they can end up even in our facilities. You can see the project in KZN is bringing more customers. So we wish that we don't have any portfolio members who would be our customer during this festive season. Thank you, Chair, and the support staff from the Portfolio Committee. Really, we appreciate the work you have done. Wishing you these safe holidays, and please be blessed with your family. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, DM. Minister?
Thank you, Honourable Chair. From my side, I just want to, before I say final words, there must just be clarity that the litigation has not stopped with MCC. It is a matter that I said that we will see let it runs out the natural death as far as that is concerned. So just to correct that. Besides that, Chairman, I also want to say from my side, and I said it when I became the Minister, the Portfolio Committee is a very important, can I say, platform when it comes to accountability. We represent the people of South Africa as members of Parliament, and we must account in the end to the people of South Africa. And I said that from our side as Minister, the Ministry, as well as the Department, we want to take hands with the honourable members in the Portfolio Committee. And yes, we can have robust debates. That's part of politics. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, when we have robust conversations, meetings, it must not see that we are people who are trying to score points or anything. It is a matter we want to see that there are results to improve DCS as such. And that's the way I see it. And I want to thank you, Chair, through you and the honourable members, for that participation the last year. And let's continue with that in the coming year, because only through that we can improve. I also want to thank all the officials. In the last meeting before this one, I said that I'm very proud of all the officials and the employees of correctional services. Yes, there are problems, but we are sorting that out. We have a lot of challenges lying ahead for 2026 and the coming years, and I'm not going to mention them. One big one is budget challenges. Some other matters we will have to look into. But if we want to ensure that we overcome those challenges, it is my view as Minister that that's why we have a festive season. That's why we have a Christmas. And for me, the central message of Christmas is that we are all sinners, all of us. There's no holy one amongst us. But Jesus loves us so much that he has sent his son to be crucified so that he will pay the price for our sins. And that's a wonderful message, to say that there's someone who stands in for our sins. And I want to wish each and every member, official, everyone, a very, very merry festive season. You must ensure that you have and get enough rest. And that is the time you are with your loved ones. And the loved ones, and why we say you with your loved ones, it is because the crucifixion was nothing else than love towards us as sinners. May we receive the strength for the next coming year, 2026, so that we can overcome our challenges. And may you in your personal life also have a prosperous year with good health to each and every one. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Minister, from both you and the DM on the messages. We wish both you and the department well as well, and do concur with the Deputy Minister that let's stay away from illegal activities or anything that would warrant us to be clients of DCS in these festivities. So let's make sure that we do indeed keep safe, all of us, and God do keep us so that we're able to converge again next year in 2026 and carry on from where we would have left off. So we wish you, from the Portfolio Committee, wish you, Minister, and the DM and the delegation from the department, or the department as a whole, including all officials in correctional facilities, the best of 2025, the best of the remaining of 2025, and wish you the best of luck in 2026. A Modimo a re bolokele lona ka nako tsotlhe. The meeting stands adjourned with yourselves. We'll then come back at 11:35 members to continue with our own Portfolio Committee meetings. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Chair. Bye.
Yes.
Okay, we can then proceed with our own portfolio committee meeting. I think we're on item 4. It would be consideration of the portfolio committee minutes. And we'll start with the minutes of the 18th of November, 2025. We're at the Good Hope Chamber, where we had the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development to take us through the issues of remand detainees who are waiting trial for more than 2 years and all the audiovisual remand system. And the reason for the low success rate on the Section 63A applications that are submitted to try and reduce overcrowding. The minutes would be taken as read because they would have been received in advance. So you would indicate where we need to correct the minutes if they're not correctly captured. Sia would move from page 1. Then will be page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. And then take us to page 6. Page 7. Those are the minutes, members, of the 18th of November in the Good Hope Chamber. Honorable Niehaus.
Thank you, Chair. I think the minutes are good. I propose that we adopt it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Shangase.
Honorable Chair, I second that the minutes be adopted.
Thank you so much. We'll move to another set of minutes. The minutes of the 25th of November, when we at the NCOP to get an update on the interdepartmental tax team between the Department of Correctional Services and the Ministry of Public Works and Infrastructure on issues relating to infrastructure and maintenance, and including getting a briefing from the minister on his assertions that he would have made during the budget vote debate in 2025 on issues of reintroducing corporal punishment. The minutes would be taken as read because we would have received them in advance. We'll then start on page 1. Let's move to page 2, Siam. Page 3. Page 4. And page 5. Page 6. Page 7. And page 8. Thank you so much, Sia, for the minutes. Members, Mrs. Ngaba, then you'll be followed by Honorable Clote.
Hi, Chair. I just wanted to ask Sia to check a typo at 6.9. Members were of the VERAs, but but other than that, I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you, Mrs. Ngaba. You then move for the adoption of the minutes with the amendment. Honorable Clote.
Honorable Chair, I can confirm this is a true reflection. That's why I'm seconding the mover. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Clote. The minutes are adopted with the amendment to them. Sia, we're dealing with reports now.
Yes, Chair. Mr. Matabat is taking over.
Okay. The first report should be the Zonderwater one, where we did a visit to the training college, including the correctional facility. The oversight report would have been sent to all of us in advance, and therefore it would be taken as read. And we were in Zonderwater on the 11th of November. So, Mr. Matabata, you can take us through. Mr. Matabat, are you taking us through? Is Matabata muted or he's unable
No,
to?
I'm sure he's trying to unmute, Chair. No, Chair, normally you would maybe read the topic and then you go page by page. You would lead. Normally, that's how you normally do it.
I did read the topic.
Sorry, I
So,
was.
okay. I wanted him to take us through what we've gone through and what is entailed in the report. Or let's do each page if there are errors or mistakes that I identified to be corrected, and then he comes back to then take us through the report.
Okay, noted, Chair.
Okay, let's move to page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Mamnolu.
Chair, 4.2, the overcrowding rate, it says to be, it's 143.8. I think the question is incorrect. There it should be 69.5.
Thank you, Mamnolu. Which page are we in? 6.
Yes, Chair.
Then we go to page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Thank you. Machabata, are you able to take us through then?
Yes, Chair. Chair, I think for the sake of time, I'll just focus on from paragraph 5 in terms of committee observations and recommendations. 5.1, Chair and members, the committee took a walkabout in the following areas. We were at the training college. We started at the kitchen. We also looked at the accommodation for learners. We visited the gymnasium, the computer room, as well as the auditorium. When we visited the present Zonderwater Medium A, we firstly visited the kitchen. We also went to the hospital. We went to the communal cells. We also took a walkabout at the workshops. We've seen different productions areas that the department is doing with the offenders. We also had a short visit at the chicken project. In terms of some of the issues that we've lifted up during our visit, first one, the issue of the tablets. The committee was disappointed that the tablets which were received in November, and at the time of our visit, the learners were not allocated those tablets. The committee further received information which later turned out to be untrue, that the tablets were loaded with the learner material and were used by learners. The committee viewed this in a very serious light, and we have requested the department to submit a comprehensive report on why the tablets have not been used. And also we said the steps needed to be taken to ensure that tablets were provided to learners for their use. And Chair, in addition, that particular report we requested, it should also include consequence management related to those responsible for keeping the tablets under lock and key, as well as those who provided information to the committee which was untrue. In terms of stipend for learners, the committee was concerned that learners from Gauteng specifically did not receive their stipend since September 2025. We've requested that the department should provide a detailed report on what happened, who was responsible, as well as consequence management. I think the chair has indicated that we've received that particular report, but we further urge the department to prioritize payment of stipend for learners and also to ensure that measures are in place to prevent such from occurring in future. In terms of acting positions, the committee was concerned about the acting positions, especially for the area commissioner, as well as the head of Medium A. The department is requested to ensure that all funded vacancies are prioritized and filled. Cleanliness, we commended the training college for being clean, as well as the facility. The committee further urged the regional commissioner of Gauteng to ensure that other facilities within the region should benchmark from Zonderwater Correctional Centre in terms of its standard. The kitchen, we visited the kitchen and the committee was not impressed with the state of the roof of the Zonderwater medium kitchen. And we requested the department or the center to ensure that the roof is cleaned regularly to prevent it from further damage. In terms of kitchen equipment, the committee was informed that the kitchen equipment were functional except for the freezer and one oven. We've requested DPW&I to attend to those equipment that are non-functional. Workshops and skills development, the committee was impressed with the different products produced from workshops in the center, including offender uniforms, signage, cutlery, and kitchen trolleys. The committee encouraged the management of the center to ensure that more offenders benefit from such skills. In addition, the Department of Correctional Services should make efforts to have skills in the workshop accredited so that offenders can have certificates that they will be able to use during reintegration in the community. Thanks, Chair. That's the first report.
Thank you so much. Mr. Matabata, members, that is a report with regards to the Zonderwater Training College, including the correctional facility that we went to when we did the oversight. Are we able to adopt the report as a true reflection of what happened?
Yes, yes, Chair, I move.
You move, Honorable Hendricks.
Thank you.
Seconder,
I second, Chair.
Honorable Sokopo seconds. Let's flag the next set of report, which would be Polsmo. We're trying to push all reports, all outstanding reports and minutes to be done so that at least we start 2026 with only the minutes of today's meeting only, members. So that's why we've packaged all those reports. Mr. Matabate, kindly flag the Polsmo report.
Yes, it's here, Chair.
I still see Zonderwater.
Is it? Oh, let me take down the Zonderwater first. Okay, struggling. Okay.
On top somewhere, Mbo.
On top.
Right. Yeah, just
Oh,
take your
stop
cursor to
sharing.
the top of the screen.
Okay, and then show the. Does it show here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It's here, Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matabate. Members, the report on Polsmo Correctional Facility, which we did on the 21st, the oversight was more of a follow-up and also on incidences that would have occurred in the facility, which would be the first one, the ERNAS release of remand detainees who were later recaptured back, and then the incident that would have claimed the 3 lives of the inmates. That made us to go back as a follow-up, because initially we would have done our oversight in April. So we had to do a follow-up on those incidences, equally to follow up on the recommendation we would have put in April, whether they have been implemented or adhered to. So that was the basis of the follow-up oversight visit that we did in Pollsmoor. So the report would be taken as read because we would have received it in advance. So would have to go each page to check whether there are mistakes that we need to correct before we could even be taken through it. So let's start with page 1, Matabata. Page 2. And then page 3. Page 4. Page 5. And that would have been the last page.
Yes.
I'll take it. There is no correction that members were to make. So kindly do take us through, Mr. Matabata.
Thanks, Chair. Let me see where I'm going to start. I will start on page 2. The committee visited remand detention facility, medium B, as well as mother and baby unit. In the remand facility, the committee took a walkabout in the following areas: admission area of RDF. We also inspected the biometric system. We visited the kitchen, where we've noted out of 13 pots, only 4 were in working condition. We also visited the D unit, where the assault incident occurred. In medium B, Chair and members, the committee took a walkabout in the following areas: the kitchen. We've also noted out of 11 pots, only 9 were in working conditions. 2 ovens were not functional. The cooler was also not functional. We also made a turn at the sentence juvenile section. The committee also took a walkabout the mother and baby unit, where at that time there were only 4 babies that were accommodated. The department also reported on the implementation of our previous oversight recommendations. In terms of high number of acting positions, the department reported there was a recent advert for vacancies and shortlisting was done, and they were awaiting appointment of interview panels, promotion of officials in the management area. They've reported that there's a selection process that is followed with guidelines as per policy directives. Panels are appointed to be representatives to ensure fairness in the process. We also raised the issue of filling of vacancies. They reported that a project plan to fill the current advertised positions are in place, awaiting approval for interview panels to proceed. We also raised the concerns regarding rehabilitation and as well as programs for juvenile inmates. they reported that the life skills programs are presented to juvenile offenders. We raised concerns regarding the level of overcrowding, especially at the remand detention. The report was that case flow meetings are attended and Section 63F and 49G reports are submitted to courts. We were concerned, Chair, about the high number of contraband. Members and inmates are searched as a standard procedure when entering correctional centers. They further reported that the register for searching are in place. EST also, with the support of SAPS, anti-gang unit and Metro Police, do sporadic searches in the facility. We also raised concerns regarding the dilapidated infrastructure. They reported that the roof of the female center, Medium B, and RDF were reported to Public Works, and current process in the 2025-26 cover the roof of RDF above A and B unit. We also raised issues around the body scanners and walk-through metal detectors, which were not operational. The management area still awaiting for head office to disperse the technician for the scanners. We were also concerned, Chair, about the cleanliness of especially the remand detention areas. They reported that the inmates are issued with cleaning material on monthly basis and records on issues to different units are kept by the appointed storeman. The extractor fence and canopy in the kitchen was found to be dirty at the time of our visit. They reported that on daily basis, food service unit are cleaned after daily operations and the cleaning register has been opened. We raised concern about the equipment at the kitchen, pots, convention ovens and fridges. They reported that all the broken pots in medium A and B have been repaired. The RDF, there are still 5 of the 13 pots not working and funding for elements are exhausted. All freezers in the kitchen and butchery were serviced and are operational. We also raised concerns about the water leakage in cells, passages, offices, and glorifier at RDF. They reported that Public Works visited the remand detention facility as continuation of engagement that have started during the previous financial year, where inputs were made in terms of options. A report was provided by Program Manager, Social Infrastructure of Independent Development Trust on 18 June 2025. They've also given us the estimate of the roof cost, and they reported that the contractor was on site in July. In terms of our observations in this visit and recommendations that we've made with regard to contraband, I think, Chair, we raised concern that the number of cell phones found when we made our visit now has increased as compared to the numbers of cell phones reported in the previous visit. And the committee continues to encourage the Department of Correctional Services to ensure that joint operations on raids are conducted. In terms of investigation reports, as they indicated that all the reports of investigations are due on the 15th of December to the National Commissioner. We indicated that the committee will schedule the department to present on all findings of all investigations in our first meeting, including Oosthoorn, Goodwood Correctional Centre. And we also requested the department to include the investigations of the 2 recent deaths from Goodwood Correctional Centre. CCTV and panic buttons. The management area is requested to install the CCTV cameras, especially in units that pose threats to the center. In addition, the management area is urged to procure panic buttons for all the centers. Security incidents, the committee is concerned with the number of security incidents occurring in Pollsmoor management area and therefore calls upon the department to ensure that joint operations with other security departments, including the Hawks and the crime intelligence, are conducted to deal with such. In terms of vacancies, the department is urged to prioritize filling of vacancies. The area commissioner is requested to provide a progress report on filling of vacancies to the committee in the first meeting of the committee in 2026. Rotation of officials, the committee requested the Department of Correctional Services to implement the rotation of officials within the management area or correctional centers. The waterfall that we saw there, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure has committed to attend to the issue of waterfall in the facility. The committee requested Public Works to submit a progress report at the end of January 2026. Leaking of roofs, the committee was also concerned about the leaking of roofs in the correctional center. Public Works is also requested to ensure that the current contractor can do the job appointed for. As we also noted, Chair, the previous contractors could not perform the jobs as the roofs were continued to leak. We also noted, Chair, as we moved to in the RDF that there were connections of electricity from one communal cell to the other or transfer of electricity from opposite cells at the D unit. The committee raised concern with regard to that, as this might be used by offenders to move contraband from one cell to another. And the management of the RDF is urged to find other ways of addressing the shortage or absence of electricity in other cells. When we visited the kitchen, Chair, we've noted that the compliance certificate at both kitchens we visited were from 2023, and we're informed that they were valid for 3 years. The committee was concerned that the journal for inspection by health inspectors could not be provided. In terms of compliance with testing of food, we were concerned that the testing of food, which is part of the SOP, was inconsistent because we've seen that in other days, there were no signatures. So the area commissioner is requested to ensure that all correctional centers comply with that particular SOP in terms of testing of food. Appointment of area commissioner. The committee has welcomed the appointment of the area commissioner, and it hoped this will bring stability in the management area. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matavata, for the report and a detailed breakdown of what would have transpired or occurred on the day when we did Pollsmoor. Members, is this a true reflection of what happened in Pollsmoor? Honorable Niehaus and Babgasa, you'll follow.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think we should mention that with regards to the wrongful release of a remand detainee, that we were told that there was not ink available on the day, and the available information that we garnered during our visit showed that this report was not correct. Then secondly, with regards to cell phones, and the Honourable Skitter should help to lead on this because he led the charge on this issue. Again, the register for confiscated cell phones that we received did not indicate that these cell phones are within the prescribed period of time destroyed. So I think those two indicators must be part of the report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Babgasa?
Thank you, Chair. On paragraph 1.2, M. Gasa's name repeated twice. Other than that, I would like to second for adoption of the report. Thank you.
With the amendments that are made or addition, yes, GASA is written twice. Tabata, after Mrs. Ngaba, there is GASA, and then after Shangase, there is also GASA. With the additions and or the amendments that are made, with including in the report the ink issue, which was quite a thorny matter that we have learned that the ink that Polsmo Correctional Facility is currently using when we were visiting, they had to get it from Thohoyandou Correctional Facility in Limpopo. And then the issue of cell phones that are confiscated being resold back to their users or resold back to the users should be also part of the report. I remember those discussions. I think the ink one will further elaborate on it again when we get that report, that investigation report in our first meeting. So yes, we have the report fully adopted. Thank you so much, members. We'll then move to the proposed first quarter program. Whose flighting is it, Sia?
Yeah.
Members of programming will be able to assist us, but you would be aware that I'm not sure if the programming committee will sit this week to be able to give an indication on how our first term in 2026 would look like, and including making an indication of the focus areas that would be determined by the House Chairperson, Honorable Frolic, because they must be able to talk to one another with the program. So in this instance, this is the draft that we had to work on with the team, just to give an indication to members on how 2026, especially if we're starting in January, it's going to look like. So that we have an idea that what are we coming back for, than to wait for programming and then do our program based on programming and the identified focus areas. So as and when programming finalizes on 2026, and including the House Chairperson gives us the focus areas on that first quarter, we'll adjust the program according to that. So I thought I make an indication. So it's better to adjust on something that already exists than starting something from scratch. Who is taking us through, Sia, or is it Batabata?
No, Chair. I can quickly take you through, Chair. As you've just alluded, Chair, that the focus areas are not yet out. Normally, in each and every term, the beginning of each and every term, the House Chairperson's office will issue out focus areas that will then determine what the committee needs to focus on. But at the moment, we used the previous focus areas that were issued by the House Chair that dealt with 3 terms, the 3rd term, and the current 4th term, and it spoke also to the first term in 2026. We've noted, Chair, the current 4th term program has a special sitting for next year on the 13th of June. This is just to highlight for members. It's not part of our committee, but just to give members an indication that there will be a first special sitting early next year. Members must note that. According to the program, Chair, normally we start the last week of January, and we are allocated to sit on Tuesdays. So we've then tried to allocate an item. As you have just alluded, Chair, in this particular meeting we've held today, that all investigation reports must be submitted to the committee, and the committee will have its first meeting to deal with the reports hence it will be our first item. If we are starting in February, this will move to February because this will be our first meeting, and it means all the other items will also follow. On the following week, Chair, we sponsored an item where we're going to be dealing with the third quarter performance report of JICS, and also welcoming the new inspecting judge. As you can recall, Chair, the current inspecting judge his term of office has lapsed, or is lapsing at the end of this particular month, and then the new inspecting judge will start next year. This is where we will be welcoming him, and the third quarter report on the JICS.
Sia, you are speaking to yourself. We can't hear you.
Okay, Chair. Am I audible now, Chair?
Yes, so go back to JICS.
Okay. Okay, let me raise my voice. On the 3rd, Chair, on the 3rd of February, we've planned to have JICS on the third quarter, on their third quarter report, and this is where we'll be welcoming the new inspecting judge. The current judge's term of office is ending at the end of this month, and the new judge will start next year. This is where we'll be welcoming the new judge, and JICS will give us their third quarter. And then the following week, Chair, we'll have a briefing by TCS on their second quarter. Remember, they were supposed to brief us on their second quarter, but they asked for a postponement because the information wasn't ready. And then that's why we have the second quarter on the 10th. And there's plans currently, we've informed that the SONA might be on the 12th. And this is just to alert members. On the 17th, we've sponsored an item briefing by the TCS on inmate classifications and privileges and gratuities. On the 24th, briefing by TCS on overview on community corrections, including rollout of community correction plans for halfway houses and procurement of cars for parole supervision. Remember, the department had indicated that they are trying to buy cars per province, per region. So we'll be monitoring that. On the 3rd, Chair, we'll get an update on the overall ICT infrastructure, including the issue of IMS. Remember, as the committee said, we'll pay a strict attention to the issue of the ICT. I think maybe here as well, we'll also get an indication of how the department plans to migrate the data in the PPPs. On the 10th, Chair, we'll be getting a briefing of TCS on their third quarter. On the 17th, Chair, we've been getting invites. The Chairperson's office, we've been getting invites from the unions within TCS, trying to seek audience with the committee. We've then planned that we sponsor and then give them an ear. The committee will be getting a briefing from the unions. And the committee is planning to undertake a study tour on the week of the 21st until the 28th. We are planning to submit an application to the Office of the House Chair, and then members, the communication from the Office of the Chair will then start from there. We are planning to submit this application before the end of this week, and then communication from there will start. Members will need to send us the copies of their IDs so that we can set up appointments at Home Affairs for members who don't have official passports, so that we can quickly get the office to set us appointments. Normally, Home Affairs attend to members on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the appointments, members can go individually as and when they are available. We don't have to go as the committee, the entire committee there. So members, maybe from this meeting, will send the secretariat the copies. Those who have official passport, it is well and fine, we'll use those. But those members who don't have official passports will then have to send so that we can send up the appointments. On the 31st, the NCC recommendations and the Minister on Parole approvals for lifers. And on the 7th, we've allocated that last week for oversight. Normally, each term will have an oversight visit. If the oversight week gets swapped with the any week in between, we will then swap this week with any week here in between in the program. We also sponsored additional items if we have to do a swap, the additional items that we'll be choosing from is briefing by the state attorney on litigation against the department. And the committee has agreed to pay special attention to the Durban Westville, Moda B, and Goodwood. So the committee will also plan to hold its meetings just like we did when we held our meeting in Zonderwater. In Zonderwater, the committee will also plan to go and hold its meetings in one of the centers next year. Thanks, Chair. That's about it from our side.
Thank you so much, Babum Tonjeni. I think we must equally find a way of putting the, depending on the focus areas, inclusion of Mangaung Correctional Facility, because of there would be a takeover, perhaps in the second quarter. The first quarter starts when? January until, is it March or April?
April, Chair.
Yeah, then between that or the second quarter, either before the takeover happens or immediately after, we should have a portfolio committee meeting like we did with Zonderwater. We should have a similar arrangement with Mangaung Correctional Facility. Do an oversight, then immediately have a portfolio committee standard on getting all those reports, transition, ICT, and so forth. So we'll have to look at whether we include it on the first quarter or second quarter, but do put it also under the, I'm adding under those ones that we need to consider if the focus areas makes us to change the program. So members, that is the proposed first quarter program, bearing in mind that we still don't have focus areas from the Office of the House Chairperson, who normally would issue focus areas for us to follow when we develop programs that will guide the portfolio committee, and including programming committee once it decides on how the first quarter would be, whether oversights become before the State of the Nation address, or they become the end of the term. So would be guided by that. But when that happens, at least we'll have to rework the program, unlike having to start it from scratch. So wanted to bring it to yourselves so that then you have an idea on it, and if we agree, we adopt and then we move with it. Members? So I'll take it we agree with what the committee secretary has taken us through, because I don't see a hand.
Oh yeah, let's move, Chairperson.
We are in agreement, Chair. I support the proposed program for the first quarter.
Thank you. Honorable Shangase would have adopted, and then Honorable Sokopo would have seconded. So that would be our guide, members, with a note that it would be adjusted according to how focus areas would come out and how programming equally would have programmed their program. So do also send to the committee secretary those who don't have official passport to travel, your IDs, so that letters of Home Affairs can be issued. You go, those who are in Cape Town, it will be easy to go to Cape Town office of the Home Affairs to do it. Those who are not, I'm not sure if they still allow, but I know some Home Affairs were reluctant. In actual fact, they wanted the the speaker to be the one that issues a letter instead of the International Relation Directorate in Parliament, which they were giving us a bit of problems to it. So, but those who are in Cape Town, it will become seamless and easy for you guys to be able to be assisted in getting official passport so that you are able to travel if our application gets to be approved for us to have a study tour. So we'll do indicate perhaps when we come back on the process of that, if we did get an approval and if we did, which areas we've been approved on to the committee. And we're just hopeful and pray that when the House Chairperson does approve us, he would make consideration of the full committee to go and attend, unlike cutting the delegation and limiting it to a certain number. And that's what we would be praying for. So would move, Sia, what is the last item? Is it farewell?
Yes, Chair, it's closure and farewell.
Okay. I would, on farewell and closures, members, I would request that we have farewells from each party to the portfolio committee members, since this would be our last meeting and would be seeing each other next year. Those who are in the house the whole week obviously will see each other in the house, but in terms of us still continuing with the work of the portfolio committee would have concluded today. So it will be very important for us to be able to do our farewell wishes to one another. I would start with, I think we have Patriotic Alliance. Honorable Hendricks, we'll start with you.
Yes, ma'am, I can't hear you proper. I'm having the phone next to my ear. Sorry, ma'am.
Okay, any farewell wishes to the portfolio committee that you have on your side?
No, Chair, I just want to say thank you to everyone and for taking me in this last couple of months. It's been a plus, and I can't wait for next year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all the members that we won't be seeing. That's all from me, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Hendricks. Bob Gassa, from your side, is it you or Honorable Shangase?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe Honorable Changase will also like to add. But as for myself, I would like to say farewell to colleagues and to this remarkable year. I'm filled with gratitude for the incredible journey we have shared. And it's been a privilege to serve, contribute, and grow alongside this winning team, dedicated winning team. I would like to wish all of you and loved ones a peaceful, joyous, and well-deserved break until we meet next year. May the new year brings renewed hope, inspiration, and success. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bob Gassa. Honorable Shangase?
Honorable Chair, as much as I don't have much to say, but what I can say is, you know that I've joined the committee very late, but I thank you all guys for accepting me. It was a long journey as we are about to finish this year, and we pray God that to give us more strength for next year. And I wish you all the best during the festive season till we meet next year with a full of energy Merry Christmas to all of you. It's enjoyable to work with all of you. May God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Babshanga, sir. Mrs. Ngabs?
Hi, Chair. Not much to add. This is a great team and I've loved working with all of you. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Honorable Niehaus.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. On behalf of myself and also Honorable Nontando Nolutsungu, I would like to express our appreciation for a committee that functions particularly well. And we want to express our appreciation to you as chair and also to the Secretariat. We've got a huge task ahead of us next year, so I wish all the members of the committee, yourself and the Secretariat, a good time to rest, a blessed Christmas, and looking forward to a continuation of the professional and excellent work that this committee has been able to do during the course of this year. God bless.
Thank you. Honorable Muela. Honorable Kluote.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Firstly, to thank God for taking us through this year, and also to say thank you to the committee, because it's because of all of us that put effort in to make the portfolio committee a success. It's so easy, it's so difficult to build, and so easy to break down. So as the committee members of the portfolio committee of correctional service, we must also keep in mind, always keep in mind the hard work that we put in to build where we are today, so that it not become easy to break it down. I wish you well, especially during the festive season. May God bless you and be safe at all times. Be safe on the road. And remember, when things get difficult, just pray and ask God to assist, and He will do so. Thank you very much. Come back safe in the new year, and let's take the same approach of the year 2025 and just do it better in the next year. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Klute. Mamnolu.
It's okay, Chair. I was requested by the Honorable Nolutandu to do the thanks on behalf and best wishes on behalf of both of us representing the EFF.
Thank you so much, Honorable Niehaus. Fully appreciate. Honorable Engel.
Thank you, Chairperson, and to all our colleagues and our wonderful support staff. I wish to extend the warmest season greetings to you and your families. And, you know, the past year have been one of very significant engagement, rigorous scrutiny, and I think dedicated service to our nation. I wish to, from my part, thank each and every one for insightful contributions and commitment they showed in efforts that everyone invest in our work. May this festive season be a time of well-deserved rest, joy, and renewal for all of you. I wish upon you a peaceful holiday and look forward to our continued collaboration next year towards the betterment of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Engelbrecht. Honorable Sokopo.
Thank you, Chair. Let me take this opportunity first to acknowledge your outstanding stewardship amongst the team. And I'm sure having you at the helm of it have made it possible, showing leadership that today we're working as a family. We only don't know each other as a family in the house. But as a committee, we work together to an extent that we even know each other's names and we call each other by name. That's an indication, Chair, that we are, of course, led. And I also want to thank the rest of the committee members, honorable members, for showing love and support to each other on a couple of things. And really wish you good with your families, your spouses, your kids, and indeed the team, the administrative support team that is assisting us and makes it possible. I know sometimes it becomes very difficult, in particular when we are traveling. It's a headache to them, but also want to thank them and wish them also good with their families. And thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sokopo. Thank you so much, members, all of you, for the well wishes. And
Honorable James is on the
Did you really forget me? Did you really forget
your
family member?
You are a
Thank
person
you.
of ad hoc.
Yeah,
That's why
I am hurt.
we have excused you to ad hoc. You don't
I
send
am
her
so
back.
hurt. Is this the way you want to end the year? Yeah.
Sincere apologies, Miss James. I didn't know you're online. Good to have you back.
Yeah. No, it's too late for that. You must pray for your sins now.
Come in,
wishes,
Miss James.
my wishes for everyone. I want to thank God for carrying us through, each and every person, and carrying through our families throughout this year. Many people has lost family members, but God has kept this committee intact. So I want to show appreciation towards God for that. I want to thank Him for His wisdom and His trust in bestowing this big task on our shoulders. And I want to thank Him for guiding us throughout the year. I want to wish each and every family member all of the best for this season. Put God first in everything you do. I'm looking forward to seeing you. And yes, there is just something special about this committee. I'm not sure what it is. I was genuinely missing all the people on here and just feeling part of. Thank you so much for making me feel part of this family. I appreciate you guys. Be blessed and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much, Ms. James. You have really been missed in the portfolio committee. Your absence has really been felt. We have been a family as the portfolio committee, and I get frustrated or stressed every time there is a change of membership in the portfolio committee. And on a basis that would have to now start to get to know new members, whether are they going to be able to gel well with how the portfolio committee has been able to build itself since inception in June, ultimately up to now. But the fears have been the fears are there, but they've not been feasible in the essence that every time there is that changes of membership, we still are able to gel well with those who have been brought in. The newest addition to the team would be now Mamnolu, who has joined us, replacing Mrs. Diale. So far, it's an exceptional journey with her, and we would learn from her, because of this would not be her first time in Parliament, including having Honorable Shangase, who later joined us in the committee. Equally, we're learning from his leadership role, and he has adjusted very well with the portfolio committee. It's as if he started with the portfolio committee. Not also forgetting the committee assistants, who were joined in August by Ms. Sowazi as the researcher, whom we did not start the journey with her, and equally were joined by Ms. Nomandla, whom around September, whom we equally did not start the journey with her as well. So we had two additional support system in the portfolio committee, which then have complemented our support team in the portfolio committee to effectively make sure that we are able to carry out our responsibilities and duties effectively by them providing support to us. And I must say, there is no room to even try to raise any issues with regards to the support team. we get. They seem to be ahead of us and planning and organizing whatever that requires to be organized effortlessly so and with respect and diligence. So I would want to say we do appreciate, guys, especially when we're oversight. There would be members that leave before we could conclude, but that process becomes seamless without affecting other members. So we thank you so much, and we hope that in 2026, where you would have identified weaknesses as a team, you will work on them so that you get to perfect yourself. But from the portfolio committee and myself, it has been a beautiful journey alongside working with yourself. You're a team of brilliant minds, and you do from time to time one draws some few intellects from you. To the portfolio committee members, it has been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful journey. If I were to choose another portfolio committee in Parliament, I'll definitely come and choose yourselves on the basis that we have adjusted very well to each other. We now know our weaknesses and strengths, and we're able to complement one another on each other's weaknesses and strengths. We're a unique portfolio committee that is diverse in terms of knowledge and skills, whom we're able to complement each other when we are able to play our oversight role to the department without even trying to compete with each other or trying to grandstand on each other. We understand the task at hand, which we need to play an oversight role to the department, and other political matters that we need to get into. We know which space we need to get into it, and that has been a foundation and a basis that was able to carry us as the portfolio committee to today. And I would want to even further say, let's carry on that. Where there has been weaknesses, let's try to get into 2026 to try and perfect, and let's continue to learn from each other. I am definitely learning. I know nothing on the law basis, but I learn from time to time from those who know a lot about law. There are other areas that I might not be fully complement to understand the operations, especially of DCS, but there are those who have been in the system for a very long time that one draws strength and knowledge from them. So we are a pool that it's unique and has different skills, but once we put together in working together, it gives us a beautiful, strong team. So I would suggest that we get into 2026 on that basis and more stronger. It has been a pleasure learning from yourselves as the team, including the support staff, and I would continue to learn on that basis. We must equally go into 2026 to try and further equip ourselves in terms of knowledge. For those who are still interested in going back to school, let's start that process to even further our own qualifications and trying to enhance other aspects to ourselves in a way of.
But you look nice.
Honorable Hendricks, we always look nice. Thank you. So, seasoned greetings to everyone and to your families. May your December festivities please be safe on the roads. I don't know what's the phobia of driving now these days because of how every time we read about accidents and so forth. So do drive safely on the roads whilst you are traveling with your families, and kindly do keep safe so that we are able to carry our task at hand in 2026. Abadimu le Modimo carry you through your journeys, and may you have a very prosperous 2026, and make sure that whatever wishes that you wish for in the next coming year, do bring it to the attention of the Lord, and make sure that you fulfill it to your best ability. So wish all of you members the best of luck, and let God through his will, make sure that we are able to converge again in 2026 for our first quarter, for our first portfolio committee meeting. Not knowing when, but the committee secretary will be able to advise us. So thank you so much, colleagues. Those who are in the house this week, who are debating or answering to questions or doing follow-ups, statements, wish you the best of luck this week. Do kindly keep safe. Is there any announcements here?
No, Chair, we will be in touch with members in terms of them sending us their ID copies. If members can do that, maybe via email or even WhatsApp directly to myself or Mr. Makelin, so that we can start that process of communicating with Home Affairs. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much, Sia. You have heard, members, those who don't have official passports, let's kindly do that process with the committee secretary or the committee assistant, Mr. Magaleni, so that then they can be able to assist us. I also need to do one. My official one only has my colonial name. I need to add Homozo to it. So let's kindly send through to Sia or Magaleni. So thank you so much, colleagues, for staying through the portfolio committee. We don't have any outstanding work except that when we meet next day in 2026, we'll only have minutes of today's meeting to consider. The meeting stands adjourned, and good luck.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Okay, Sia, let's remain with the team. Sis Nomandla awusemhle, ifoto yakho ayisemhle. Sia Mathabata Makaleni, so as remain to finish off our own logistical things. Awusemhle man. Wenze njani?
Molo Chair, indala. Thank you very much, Chair.
Si asisastreamanga mos, awukhipha umoya akekho apha. Sho, ni survive njani ngama-weave?